getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Well, I'm lumped up, but I'm okay. It's gonna get lumped up anyway. You better call back the posse. Just getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi.
Hey everybody, welcome to the RockerMike and Rob Presents show. I'm RockerMike, this is Rob Rossi, and today we have special guests, the doo-wop group, the Fireflies.
How you doing?
How you doing, guys?
How you doing?
All right. We have Marco, we have Vic, we have Nick, and we have Tony of the famous Fireflies. Fireflies have a long history. They go back to 1957. Their first major hit was in 1959, the song You Were Mine. I think you're most well known for that, right?
Yep.
And Marco, you know, you've been in the band the longest, so tell us a little bit about how the band got started and what went into You Were Mine.
Well, it started as an instrumental group, and their first record that they made was called The Crawl on Roulette Records, which nothing went like that. So at the time, we had Paul Giacalone, you had,
Richie Adams.
Richie Adams, yeah,
Right.
okay. Lee Reynolds and
John Vaselli.
John Vaselli, those were the originals.
Okay.
They had a follow-up to You Were Mine called I Can't Say Goodbye, which was out in 1960.
Right.
It made the top 100, but unfortunately at that time, they broke up at that time,
Yeah.
so it didn't go anywhere. About 23 years ago, I met Paul Giacalone, and he was putting the group back together. And it just
This was after some time though, right? The band hadn't...
Yeah. Well, this was back in 1999, actually, it started.
Wow.
And he used to go to my stepson's repair car place. And he noticed that he had a guitar hung up on a wall. He says, "Oh, you play guitar?" He says, "Yeah." And he explained who he was. He got a hit record. And he says, "I'm looking for a keyboard player that knows all the oldies." So my stepson says, "Say no more. My stepfather, he plays keyboards and all that." So they called me up. And my wife got on the phone, Linda. So Joseph says, "Ma," he says, "Yeah, did you ever hear of a group called the Fireflies?" He says, "Yeah, what about them?" He says, "Do you know what song they had out?" "Yeah." He said, "It was You Were Mine." He says, "How'd that go?" So she starts singing and not knowing, he put her on loudspeaker with Paul and her son hearing this, you know.
Right.
So then that's when I got on the phone. He told me he wanted me to play keyboards and add strings. He sent me the records. I made a tape with my keyboards and I sang on it. And I sent it to him.
Right.
And he got back to me a couple of days later. He said, "I didn't know you sang." I said, "Yeah, I thought I told you." "Yeah." I said, "Okay, very good." So we had our first rehearsal, very beginning of 2000. And I sang. He says, "I would like to be lead singer." He said, "You sound very close to the original."
Yeah.
I said, "Would you like that?" I said, "Well, I like it. I would love it."
Now, Richie was the original singer
He was
of
the-
that song?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So he said, "All right, I want you to be the lead singer, but keyboards are out." He said, "I want you out in front." And that's how it started with me.
Mm-hmm.
About a year or so later, we got Vic. And you could tell him how you got started with us.
Well, the bass player, John Muro, was it?
Europe, yeah.
Yeah, he asked me if I wanted to audition. I said, "Sure, why not?" So I went down to in Brooklyn, I think it was, right, in the studio, and I started singing some backgrounds, and they said he liked it. So that's how I became the first tenor
Okay.
back then.
Cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Nick?
Well, before I started singing with them, I had received a phone call, and they needed a drummer for a gig, and the drummer had gotten sick, and so I packed my drums and went and played a show, or two, or three with them, and then after that, I met everybody, and Paul and I became really good friends, and we would talk a lot in the green room. He would tell me the stories about how he got started. He was like a grandfather to me. It was great. So,
Now, sadly, Paul has passed, right?
Yeah.
Paul passed, and then I was asked to join, And that was it. I thought I was coming in to do drums, and all of a sudden they're putting me up on a microphone in front, which I've never done before, in front of thousands of people. And it took a little bit of work, and I got it. And I was in a group before with Vic also, and an oldies group for a long time.
Right.
And so we worked on it, and then I had to switch to baritone. Vic is up first tenor, so normally I do first tenor. So we were back and forth. So it worked out very well. And
That's 9 years ago, right? 9 years ago?
11 years now.
Wow. You were with us 11 years?
Yeah, I think Paul is gone maybe 11 years now.
June next month.
I just want to bring something up now. Is it true that the original Fireflies, they all played instruments themselves, right?
Yes.
And they were really the first, or one of the first vocal groups that did that. Because mostly people just sang, and you had session musicians or
Before
whatever.
the Beatles.
Before the Beatles, yeah.
And Paul happened to be the drummer.
Yeah,
And
right,
so
Paul was
we
the drummer.
connected, me and him, and his wife said, "Oh, Paul loves the way you play the drums, loves it."
Yeah.
You know. I said, so anyway, that's how it worked out for me, and it's the best thing that ever happened to me in my life.
Yeah.
Right,
Play all these places and meet. Now I get to meet all the groups and the people that me and Vic have played their songs for 10, 20 years in our other group. So now we're playing the Tokens, the Duprees, and when so finally, you know, we have dinner with them before we do the show. So we're sitting down eating dinner with these people.
Famous.
It's great.
Yeah. Now Tony on the end.
Tony.
I know you're a newbie in the group.
Yes, I am. I'm,
Tell us your story.
He's a new kid on the block.
a little over 2 years, and basically started. I was singing karaoke for a few years at a place out here, and Nick used to go there all the time, and was always hello and goodbye. And when COVID hit, things sort of settled down, and we were a smaller group at the restaurant. And one day Nick asked me, "So you got a minute? I want to speak to you in the parking lot." So,
I really was
I don't
gonna
know.
I was gonna beat him up, but
What was going to happen there? You know?
he had no money on him.
So he opened up his trunk and gave me a CD of their group, of the Fireflies, and he asked me if I ever sang background, which I did when I was a teenager. So I kind of thought that the group was going to be doing a gig and they were stuck for another voice. So I asked him, you know, he said, "Could you learn the background on this particular album?" I said, "Yeah, I'll try." So I did, and I had another album of theirs, and I learned the background for that. So when I said I was ready, he says, "Come to my house, here's my address." He said, "I'll be there with Vic." So both of them went down to Mickey's house in the studio, and they listened to me. We had the tracks going with Marco on, so it was like actually the whole group there.
He didn't meet Marco with this.
I haven't met Marco, no, so we had the tracks.
Just my voice.
So we had to tune him up for that.
Fast forward about 7 months of them training me, they said, "Listen, nothing's guaranteed. You know, we're looking for a second tenor. You do sound good, but you know, Marco wants to meet you." So just a little over 2 years ago, on Good Friday, the three of us shot down to Marco's house on Long Island. Marco opened the door and I said, "Wow, there really is a Marco." Because I was only listening to his tracks for almost 8 months. So we went down to Marco's studio in the basement, and we went over a few songs that I had learned, and he sort of like packed up everything and said, "You know what? I don't really need to hear anymore." So I said, "I don't know."
Go home.
That might be a bad thing, you know. So I think the icebreaker was when we went upstairs. He asked me, "You like pizza?" I said, "I love pizza." He said, "Sit down." He ordered about five pies. There was only 3 of us.
What if he said no, Marco? He was an item?
He was out.
I was on.
That would be a deal breaker.
And he said, "You know, I could see that you've been practicing." And I said, "You know, not only me, but with the patience and the experience of Nick and Vic training me, that's where I am here today." Marco asked me, he said, "Would you like to be a Firefly?" And oh my God, I think I wet myself first, and I said, "Yeah." I said, "Absolutely, it's an honor."
But what he didn't tell you, the other guys had a gun on it.
And it's like Nicky said, it's a dream come true. I never in a million years would have thought I would be singing professionally. And like karaoke was basically it. You know, I enjoyed doing it. I still enjoy doing it, and it's a privilege and a pleasure to sing with these gentlemen and meeting the people that we do. It's unbelievable.
Wow. Now, Marco, your history, you had a musical past going back to the time of the original Fireflies around then, right?
Yeah, I was in another group. It was a duo called Reunion, and I had that for quite a few years. And then I retired from it, And a few years later, this came along. And
No, you,
That's it.
tell about the song you wrote.
He had a couple
Oh, yeah.
45s out too.
You had a single out though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Or something.
single.
oh yes, I had a single out when I was a teenager called "I'm So Lonely." I didn't go too far, but you know, Nick was able to buy it.
Here's a nice song. I did. I looked,
found it?
for the
Yeah.
45,
Yeah.
and I bought like 2 or 3 of them. And I
What
said,
label
look,
was it?
I got
Mohawk Records.
Mohawk, yeah.
It's the same label that the Dimensions were on,
Dimensions,
over the radio.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they had their address on the bottom, so that's why I called them and I went to the audition. So that's how that
How old were you when you put that?
17.
Wow.
You gotta hear
So you
it.
can hear my voice.
Sounds like he's
I
12.
sound like a little kid over there. I think, you know,
High pitched voice.
I am so lonely.
I had him autograph it, and I put it in a frame, and it's on my
great.
wall at home.
That's
People go,
great.
Who's that?
That's great. Wow. Now I've seen you guys a few times over the last few years, and you know, at oldie shows and stuff like that. And first of all, I mean, you guys are fantastic. And what I like is I see a lot of young people that were nowhere near your age. I mean, totally, you know, that could maybe be your grandchildren,
Right.
Yeah.
loving the music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. And just oldie shows in general, I do see that. But with you guys, there's always a good reaction. And I have to bring up, I noticed that you've added a song to your set, Moni Moni.
Holy moly.
All right, and you do that very well.
Well, Marco asked me
And he
to
goes
do
out
that
to the
song.
audience.
Yeah, you go down into the audience and you get everybody revved up.
Marco said to me, I want you to do Moni Moni. I says, I really don't like that song. So he goes, all right, let's try it. So we did it. And one day I said to him, I
It's on
said, you know
our
what? I'm going to go out in the audience and see how the reaction is. So I did. It's kind of crazy coming off stage. But while Marco's talking and telling his jokes, I leave.
Yeah.
So nobody knows.
Nobody
I
sees you. Yeah,
And
I
I'm out
noticed
there.
that.
But yeah, it does.
Goes on
We
with
also started doing another song, it was Tossing and Turning, written by Richie Adams.
Right, done originally by Bobby Lewis.
Yeah.
Yes,
Tossing and
but
Turning.
Richie wrote it,
He wrote that
and he
song.
was a Firefly, so,
Yeah.
yeah, so we brought that to our set.
He also wrote a song for Engelbert Humperdinck,
Yeah, come on.
after the Love.
After
yeah,
Lovin'.
yeah.
Wow.
And this moment in time also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, this moment in time, yeah,
Yeah.
gorgeous song.
Yeah, yeah.
Gorgeous song.
After
yeah.
the Love.
Richie
I
was
remember
great.
when I was a kid. That was a huge hit.
Richie was great.
Yeah.
Oh, we took another song from, well, not took, we were asked to do a song that Richie Rosado wrote. He used to be the lead singer of the Duprees years ago. And so Vic contacted Richie.
Right.
And Richie said, do whatever you want with it. He goes, I'd love to hear it. So we do that now on stage at Rob's concerts.
Do Up In My Soul.
Do Up In My Soul,
Yeah,
yeah.
Do Up In My Soul. Another beautiful song. And the people, what a good reaction
Rob
to
loves
that.
that song.
Yeah. And people ask us, you have that on CD? So you got to look up Richie Rosado because he's the guy. Yeah. Matter of fact, he co-wrote it with somebody, and we did it on a show. I think Count Basie, and the guy come over to the table and he says, "I love that song, Do Up In My Soul." He says, "You guys did a great job on that." I says, "Oh, you like that?" He goes, "Yeah, I co-wrote it with Richie Rosado."
Yeah.
I says, "Oh, wow!" You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do pretty good, and the concerts are great. The people are phenomenal. They love it, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and the
A lot of
other
fun.
groups too, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you playing in, you know, several thousand, in front of several thousand people.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
What did we
PNC,
do? West
Yeah,
Valley.
PNC you played? You played Count Basie most
Eisenhower
recently?
Park, 12,000 people was
Yeah,
there.
it was 12,000 there that day. I didn't believe it really, but Kid Kyle's the one who said to me,
Eisenhower packs it out. I've been to
Oh,
shows
man,
there.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
And
it's
they-
very
they-
popular
And
place.
everybody, they're so phenomenal. They're great people, you know. They love it.
Yeah.
They get into the music, so.
And we did California, Cerritos.
Yeah, Cerritos, California.
We've been in Ohio with Dion. We did shows with him.
Yeah.
Florida.
He's an amazing artist. Ian.
Oh,
man, he's-
nicest guy too.
He is
I've heard
great.
that.
Yeah,
Very nice.
great
I
guy.
did a PBS special
Great guy,
back
yeah.
in 2002. Me and Mark were
Yeah,
on that.
you were that. Red, White, and Rock.
TJ
I
Lubinski.
probably saw that. I
Yeah.
usually watch
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, Channel 13,
Yeah, Channel
21.
13 has them.
Yeah,
They got good stuff on there.
Yeah.
As you can tell, if you see it, you know I'm a little younger because I have all dark hair. Dark mustache.
Yeah, Paul was on there.
Can't stop that, man. Can't stop it.
You can't stop it. What are you going to do?
You know what the thing is about doo-wop? So many people don't do it. So what you do here is like a weird art form. It's like you're hearing this and people don't get it. And then And it takes a while for people to get into, but once you listen and like you can really catch it, be like, wow, this is great. Why don't more people do it?
It depends on your harmonies too. We have a good
Yeah.
harmony. We're
Yeah,
known for that.
You got
harmony.
fantastic
We
harmonies.
work on them, you know, the harmonies
Yeah.
all the time.
And we always get compliments after the show. You guys are great. You know, the harmony's unbelievable. So
I mean, I think the younger people that do see you
Yeah, appreciate it.
and other doo-wop bands of that style, you know, I think that people are dying to hear real music in the sense of people
Yeah.
playing instruments, people
Yeah.
singing.
Yeah.
Okay, and because the way music is today, everything is produced and orchestrated and
Yes.
you know and
Yeah.
whatever. You know, no one's really singing auto-tuned, all that.
Oh, yeah.
You got that heavy metal and rap, which
Well, I mean, there's a place for that stuff, but it's just that it's total different kind of
Oh,
talent.
yeah.
Okay.
Different, you know,
Production.
audience, you know.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
different.
totally different.
and it's more innocent with their songs or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what do you think? I guess I'll ask you, Marco. What do you think is the reason that doo-wop and vocal bands like that have? Why do you think people like it all these years? I mean, we're talking getting close to 70 years with some of this music.
You're talking about the people of that era,
Yeah.
that it brings back memories and makes them feel like a kid again, like, you know, and they just love to hear the music, you know.
and they hear that they're on the record, so on radio, but when they see it live, they say, "Wow,
Yeah.
that's how they really are."
And plus, you know what, if I may add, after we get off stage, just like a bunch of the other groups do, we go out and we mingle with the people in the hallway or in the front of the theater, and they really do like coming up and taking a picture with you, whether it's individual or the four of us, and
Yeah.
we go, you know, they go crazy over that, and it's just a good
Well,
time.
it's special to us.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's what keeps it going too.
The best bands are always the ones that remember their fans and treat their fans right.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, and that could be across all different genres of music.
Yeah.
But you guys do that. I have
Yeah,
seen that.
all the time.
Okay,
All the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
We stay extra.
Yeah.
We do the intermissions, we're there at the table, we're out in the front of the table, people come up, can we take pictures with you guys? We take pictures.
Sign the CDs and
No
stuff.
charge for the picture if they're taking it with their phone or whatever, so you don't get that with a lot of the higher end groups, you know?
Yeah.
You can't walk up to Journey and say, can I take
No.
a picture with you? You
No,
can't walk up to
they're
some-
gone at the end
No,
of the show.
they're gone, or somebody's gonna charge you $100 and the tickets are.
Yeah, that's a new thing that you see with a lot of bands is you pay this extra VIP ticket,
Yeah.
shell out $500 and you get to take a picture.
So that's okay, that's okay for the kids who are living with their parents, but you know, the older generation,
Yeah.
they're on fixed incomes, they're on pensions and social security, and for them to come to see a show for $50, $60 and get the full treatment, you know, like they're special, they love it. You know,
Right.
they're seeing the show, they're
Yeah.
meeting who's up on stage after we get off, and it's great. You know,
Well, for me, it's like an honor.
Yeah, sure
They want
it
to
is,
have
sure.
pictures with us,
Oh,
all
yeah.
that, you know,
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
Really, yeah. So.
Now, what is it? What goes into you guys as far as practicing and keeping your voices good? How much do you practice, Tony? I know you've talked about this.
Well, I'm, I guess the exception. I like to sing almost every day at home, and I have the time. That's why. And I try to sing with the CDs, and I sing other songs. I just try to keep the vocals in shape. I know Nick and Vic, when they have time, they're singing also, whether it's on the radio or in the car. And then we try to get together at least 2 or 3 times a month and sing as a group, because it means a lot. You know, once you're off, you're off. You know you're off, and there's not many days that we're off.
Now, if you have a gig on a Saturday night somewhere, do you practice that day, or you keep,
No, we'll
keep
get
your
together.
voices fresh?
Thursday,
Couple of days before, we'll get together, go over that songs quick.
Yeah.
Marco lives in Long Island, so
It's just the three of them get together. I know my stuff.
Yeah.
We have a
They're
CD
forgetful.
we have a CD with Marco's voice on it.
Yeah.
So we put the CD on, and
It's like he's
there's
there.
no background, so we just do the background
Exactly.
to that, so.
Let me ask a question. How do you guys kept like in during the pandemic? How do you guys rehearse? Do you guys rehearse? Do you guys call each other? Do you do a video conference? How were you guys getting together to like
Well,
practice or sing songs?
We really didn't do much during the pandemic, but we did a virtual one day.
Okay.
That,
A couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we made a video and we submitted, and they it was Laura, and we were together with like Kathy Young was on that, Jimmy Clanton, the Peppermint Twist, Joey D.
Joey D.
And Starlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, and he aired it. That was like really the one show we did, you know, during the pandemic.
Like,
The last show we did was before the pandemic. Was about 2 weeks before everything closed down, which was at Count Basie. Yeah.
In New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After that, it got canceled. You know,
Yeah.
as you know, I mean.
The whole industry was down, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad time. It's slowly coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
Some venues unfortunately didn't make it, and they're not here no more. But you know, hopefully that changes too.
Yeah.
you know, I think people are really hungry for like a live entertainment. They were so
Yeah.
cooped up in the house for so long that now people
Yeah.
just want to go out, be around people, and they want to listen to music and just be around. They just want to be around people because
Sure.
it was a rough time in those couple
You can see
of
the people
days.
when they come out of the
Yeah.
theater, how excited they are.
Yeah.
Wow, that was great. You know.
Yeah.
They make a day of it too. We just did Count Basie. You couldn't get a reservation in any of the restaurants around the area because
Wow.
they were so
Packed.
Right.
It's unreal. It's they want to go out, have dinner, go see the show.
There's a lot of energy in these audiences now. A lot of energy. They're eager to come in and see you and chat and just have a good time. And like you said, bring back the memories of when they were a little younger.
Yeah.
And the younger guys and girls that are there will have a memory 20 years from now of what they seen that night.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, going back to the original Fireflies for a second, obviously by 1963, 1964, music was changing. The Beatles, Rolling Stones, stuff like that. And a lot of the vocal groups, the girl groups, for instance, they all kind of got pushed to the side.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was probably very difficult for Paul, okay, and the other guys to keep it going. But the history that I was looking at said they actually made it to 67. Is that accurate? 1967.
There was another group.
Oh, was it a different lineup?
It was a
It was
bogus
another,
group.
Oh, it
yeah.
was a bogus group.
Bogus group, wow.
Paul was not in that group?
No.
Oh, so they were calling themselves the Fireflies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I was in one.
Okay.
Years, way before I got in with them, I was with a bogus group, but Paul gave them permission to
Yeah.
use the name.
Right.
But then they tried to steal the name and went to a
Ended up going.
Went to court.
court and everything, and that was it.
And Paul went in.
Did they just curious, I mean, obviously a bogus group, but did, by the mid-60s when music was changing, did they try to change with the music? Or was it just doing the doo-wop stuff?
I don't think they were together anymore at that point.
Yeah, really,
Yeah.
yeah.
And not until we started up again in 2000.
Right. And Paul, you know, when you took over the band, you know, he was out of the picture at that point.
Yeah, when he passed away, before he passed away,
Yeah.
he told me, he said, Mark, if anything happens to me, he said, I want you to run a group. But I have to say, this guy over here, Nick, has done a lot of really big help. He knows a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I got to give you credit,
Oh,
Nick.
that's
Yeah.
nice.
That's nice.
Absolutely.
That's
I
nice.
don't do it for me, I do it for us, actually.
I know.
And Paul, because I adore the guy. I wish he was still standing next to me singing, but we can't have it all, you know?
Yeah.
I just want to bring out a point. Fireflies were the first white group
I was going to bring that up.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
that played the Apollo Theater.
Yes.
Wow.
And they were a little nervous when they went on, because when they were hired, they actually thought it was a black group they were hiring.
That
when they
used to
got
happen
there.
a lot.
But the crowd went nuts for them. So, it was,
Yeah.
Wow.
I always said it would be great to do the Apollo Theater.
The stuff I had read about the Apollo, when that would happen, as long as you kind of kicked ass,
Yeah.
it was, you know,
Yeah.
you get the full
Oh, yeah.
blessing of
Yeah.
everybody in the
Yeah.
audience. It didn't
Yeah.
matter.
Well, they got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's
they
also another great story, if I could just say it for a second. It's like Keith Richards wrote a book called Life,
Yeah.
about his life.
Yeah.
And he said when they first came, the Stones first came to the South in America, people thought that they were black.
Yeah.
You know, people didn't have the album covers,
Yeah.
they didn't have the internet in those days.
Yeah.
No,
That's
you know.
right, yes.
So the whole audience would be like black girls,
Yeah.
maybe some guys, right? And they would be shocked, but then they'd be blown away,
Yeah.
you know? And then they'd party with these girls after all that.
Didn't Buddy Holly have that problem also?
Buddy Holly too.
When they showed up at the guy's office, he said,
I thought you were black.
Buddy Holly,
Yeah.
I thought you guys were, you know.
Yeah.
But he, again, And not taking away from the black artists, man, because they are phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, but Buddy Holly walked in with his big glasses and said, "We're here, we're here, Hawaii."
Here I am.
You know, and that's great
People,
too.
I mean, in the Elvis movie that was out last year, Elvis had that problem too.
Yeah.
People thought,
Yes,
thought
yes,
Elvis was
yes.
black. You know, so I think if you just, like I said, if you just kick butt and you go out there, you put on a good show, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, happens
we tried.
me and the blowfish. I thought the guy was a big white dude. And then I
Who do you have to blowfish?
All right.
You thought he was white?
thought it was a big white guy. I said, "Who is this?"
Now he's doing country.
Yeah, he would take a country. I was,
He's got a phenomenal
He's
voice.
phenomenal. I couldn't
He does.
believe that. I was like,
He is fantastic.
I
Yeah.
remember when I saw him, I was like,
Yeah,
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? And he sounded like there was a big giant white guy there.
And that was Darius Rutger.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the original Fireflies, were they on American Bandstand?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
for You Were Mine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Dick Clark used to have a Saturday night show. It was
Yeah.
called the Beach Nuts Show.
The Beach Nut Chewing Gum.
Yeah,
Right? It was
wow.
sponsored by them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were on saying You Were Mine.
Didn't everybody have to chew gum in the audience? Like they gave gum out and everybody was smacking away in the
You
audience?
just seen the video.
I heard about
Yes,
this.
yeah.
But if I know Paul, he walked away with a couple of cases.
I've seen that video too.
So,
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
We actually have a copy of that video.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to see that.
what was the story with You Or Mine, if you don't mind me? Tell them the story about You Or Mine, how Paul wrote it somewhere else.
They were performing in Canada. And he met this girl. And, you know, he fell for her and all that, you know.
He was young.
He was like a teenager,
Yeah.
maybe 17 years old, 18.
Right.
And he said he fell, and then they had to leave. And that was it. And that was where it came. You Were Mine at the time.
You were mine at the time. Yeah,
And the
that's
film
lyrics.
was sublime.
Yes.
And the other one, I Can't Say Goodbye, is he wrote
For his mother.
for his mother.
For his mother.
Because he always had to travel.
You know, and she used to cry. I said, "Boy, when are you going to come home again?" And so he kept saying, "I can't say goodbye," you know. And
Yeah.
he came with that, you know.
Nice. And those are the best songs, the ones that are
Yeah.
personal.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Really, it's true. It's true. Okay, so what do you guys have coming up? I know you're playing some shows.
you got that.
We're going to be doing, let's see, Eisenhower Park in August.
Okay.
We got that. And I think
Tony's got the
Tony
list.
has all the listing, yeah.
Okay.
You know, like I said before, we last Saturday we just finished a performance at Count Basie, which was fantastic.
And we did
And,
Westbury last month.
I remember that.
Yeah, we did Westbury in February, which was a fantastic show and almost a sellout crowd over
Mhm.
there.
That's a great stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we did Count Basie. Like I said, we have Eisenhower Park on 8/13, the big stage with a nice array of talent with us. Then we're going to be doing an American Legion out in Rockaways on 9/23, and then we're doing a cultural center in Jersey on 10/12, and then we have a doo-wop Christmas holiday Christmas show presented by LAR. That's going to be on 12/9 at Bergen Pack, which is a beautiful, beautiful venue.
Yeah,
We did that last year. Matter of fact, we closed
That's
last
an old.
year.
That's an old theater.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been there. I've seen a couple
Beautiful.
of shows.
Nice,
We did it last year, the closing of last year. They redid
They just redid the whole front.
the lobby, right in the
Wow.
front. Fantastic. So we're looking forward to that and anything else that sometimes pops up in between to keep us going.
Yeah.
And thank God, more and more jobs are coming in, more and more people are recognizing us. And I had a promoter tell us one time, you guys are like so underrated. You know, if more people knew about you,
Yeah.
you'd be out a lot more. And I guess it's getting out. You know, when we
Yeah.
perform in front of any promoter, we give it all our
100%.
give it 100%. And you can see that they know now. And we're
Yeah.
getting more and more calls from different promoters, and they love us. And, you know, there's nothing like singing in front of a crowd and making everybody happy.
People
That's
know
what we're
the-
in for.
People don't know the Fireflies until they hear the song.
They were.
That's it. Oh, those are the Fireflies. Wow.
Yeah.
Remember that song?
Yeah, I know that song. You Were Mine,
Yeah.
You Were Mine.
Do you guys have a website?
Yes, we
Yes.
do.
What is it?
It's,
We'll give them the card. We'll give you a card.
yeah. It's,
Oh,
Well,
tell the
tell the
people.
people. Tell the people.
Firefliesmusic.com.
Firefliesmusic.
That's it.
we're also on Facebook.
Right.
Like the groups,
Yes.
if you look for the groups with
Fireflies.
Friends of the Fireflies.
Friends of the Fireflies.
All right.
And we're also on some past performances we put up on YouTube. If you look for the Fireflies on the YouTube, you'll see some of our 10 or so
Videos.
past performances. We try to get them up after
Yeah,
the shows.
videos. Put the videos
So we try
on.
to advertise ourselves as best as possible, and we are so grateful that we had the opportunity today to be interviewed by the three of you. It's a good opportunity, and
Well,
we really
you
appreciate
know,
it.
this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
We've been trying to schedule this for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
And when I first saw you guys, I said, I want them on the podcast. Because I could tell how real you were, okay? And the effort you put in, and how you were just a bunch of great guys, humble,
Thank
and, you know, and if I can help you in any way, I wanted to.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Nice.
so, one more question.
And I
You guys
can-
on any streaming service? Could you listen to the music on any other streaming service like Apple or Spotify?
You and Mine, I know, is on Pandora.
It's on Pandora.
Series?
Okay.
On series.
Series,
50s, yeah.
But that's not us on there, it's the original guys. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul and the
Okay.
And I gotta say, I could not work better guys over here. Really
Thank
great
you.
guys. We're like brothers.
Yeah, I
I
want
can
to
tell.
raise. I want to raise.
You know,
You don't like it that much.
You don't get to know a bunch of guys until you go into your dressing room, boy. I tell you, that tells it all.
What?
We have a lot of fun.
Undress.
Or
You know what?
packed in a car, driving
we have-
5 hours somewhere, you know.
Pittsburgh.
you get to see a lot when you're in the
phenomenal.
dressing room.
Some of the dressing rooms are so small.
Oh my God.
And you guys dress to the nines. You come out in suits and everything.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
you know, it's
Different
all
color
good.
jackets.
Well, the last one we did 4 different colors.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen you, you've done the same.
Yeah,
I think,
we did,
yeah.
Eisenhower and just last
Count Basie.
Count Basie. We walked
That's
out
sweet.
with different. Everybody had a different color jacket on, which the
Okay.
people go crazy over. They say, I said, well, I
gotta
sent
say-
out a memo, but they didn't read it. So they
It was funny, but, you know, at the very beginning we had yellow jackets. That's how we started.
Yeah, yellow.
And so I brought it to the laundromat, the dry cleaners, and have it cleaned up. So when I went to pick up, the guy goes, I know, you singer, you singer. I said, how do you know? I know, you singer.
Because of the jacket.
that was Paul's colors: the yellow and the white.
Yeah.
Yellow jacket with the white pants and the white and the yellow tie.
Wow.
It's the one he loved, and we try to keep that every now and then. We try to do that, but you can't go out in the same color every time.
No,
No.
you gotta mix. Boring for you guys.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta mix it up.
But we try not to go into black because everybody uses black.
Kenny
It's
Vance.
tuxedos and
Tuxedos and
t-shirts and whatever, but we try to keep it colorful.
Try to keep them loud
Yeah,
colors. My son went into the closet a couple of weeks ago, and he opened one side. He said, geez, I thought Elton John was living here. I was always a low-key guy with,
Yeah.
browns and beiges and black, and I said, well, listen, it's different now. He said, oh my God. He said, they look great.
now on your websites, do you have any music available to buy, like a CD or anything, or
Not buy. You can listen to it while you're looking at the website. We put pictures on every time we do
you have the
a different
music
show.
on there?
Yeah, we have the music. Actually, it's it's You or Mine, and then Marco's song, the one he wrote within the last couple of years. He wrote a song, and
What's the name?
Since you
That's
were gone.
Since You Were
Gone.
In fact, it's a title
of the last album,
last album,
CD
yeah.
we did, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we try to keep that one going, and there's people love that song, and
Yeah.
he wrote it, presented it to us. We did the background for it, and
Joke about it. He
We
wrote it.
did
He
it on
said
stage and they
13
loved
he
it.
wrote it.
yeah, he was 13 when he wrote
And I
the
say he
words.
wrote it in stone.
Yeah.
Chipped away the tablet.
How about crayons?
That's it.
So we keep that going, and that song is hitting it big, and the people love it.
It's a great
And that's
song.
on the CD, so hopefully we'll get in another couple of months and get another CD going.
Maybe that put in the movie too.
Yeah. Anybody out there definitely use
Yeah,
their song.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. So I wanted to thank you for coming on.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for
much.
having us.
And everybody, check them out. Go to firefliesmusic.com, right?
Yes.
Firefliesmusic.com.
The Fireflies.
Thefireflymusic.com. And support bands like this. Doo-wop is something that's like, it's an art form, and not everybody can do it.
Yep.
And these guys are out there doing it and really keeping that music alive. And it's not your father's music. It's
No,
actual,
no.
legitimate, artistic American music,
yeah.
and it's roots of rock and roll, and
It is.
which is something I'm very interested in. And I just think that everybody should, check them out, or bands of that genre. Keep that music alive, and you guys keep plugging along.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So
As long as we can, yeah.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right. So this is the end of RockerMike and Rob Presents for
Yeah.
today.
For today.
Okay.
We'll be
and-
back with a few other shows
Yeah.
in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're always doing something.
Yeah, we'll always do something.
All right. Okay, people. Take care. Thank you.
I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. I'm getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Well, I'm lumped up, but I'm okay. It's gonna get lumped up anyway. You better call back the posse. Just getting lumped up with RockerMike and Rob Rossi. Getting lumped up with RockerMike